everybody, welcome back. It is Friday, May 1st, 2026, and you are listening to episode 230 of Midnight Film Society. I'm your host, Damian Sherman. Joining me today, as always, is
Derick McDuff.
On today's show, The Green Knight and a Ghost Story director David Lowery is back. The psychological drama entitled Mother Mary. Derick and I will go over that film later on. But before that, we'll go over some movie and TV news, discuss more about what we're watching, and finish up with our Letterboxd assignments. Right into the show, midnightfilmsociety@gmail.com, Midnight Film Pod on Instagram, Blue Sky, Letterboxd. Subscribe on Pocket Cast, YouTube Podcast, Spotify. Rate and review it on Apple Podcasts. Tell a friend, if I remember, stranger. What's up, man? How we doing?
Doing well. Ready to talk about some movies. I think we're in the kind of like, not, doldrums, because we did see some movies, but it's the little bit of the calm before summer movies start coming out and the floodgates just break.
Yeah, we'll actually do what's coming up later on at the very end of the show, but yeah, there's some decent horror movies I'm really looking forward to. We were just talking about Regal stuff and how they schedule their movies, and they have a mystery movie Monday that I was considering checking out, and people on the Reddits think it was Deepwater. So it's you said it's the doldrums, and you're not wrong, but it's also kind of like, oh man, that weird random movie by Rennie Harlan starring that would have been direct to DVD many years ago. Now it's direct to streaming, but it's good. It's these kind of weird straight to streaming movies with Ben Kingsley and Aaron Eckhart are coming to theaters sometimes.
Yeah, there's some good, hidden gems in there.
Yeah, produced by Gene Simmons, apparently. Okay, that's interesting.
All right. Yeah,
sure.
That is for sure.
Sure. Yeah, and Hokum's coming out next week, but we'll get to that many minutes later. So yeah, there was some stuff in theaters, and we will be discussing them later on. As an addendum to last week when we were talking about what's coming to the Cannes Film Festival, there's a late entry because I guess James Gray hasn't quite finished it up yet, but it is coming now, called Paper Tiger, the director of The Immigrant, Two Lovers, We Own the Night, Ad Astra, Brad Astra, and in Ad Astra playing Dad Astra. Like that movie quite a bit.
He's a sad Astra.
And he's a sad Astra.
I did not like that movie.
No? I think I find enough.
No.
A couple of years later, he did Armageddon Time, which one of those kind of deep pandemic movies came out in 2022.
Yeah.
It was finally went out to theaters when it finally went out to theaters when they reopened up. Saw that with my mom. She enjoyed it very much. But yeah, Paper Tiger will be debuting at Cannes Film Festival, starring Scarlett Johansson, Adam Driver, Miles Teller. So yeah, seems like a interesting inclusion to the like we were saying last time. I think one of the things we came away from the lineup last time saying was there's a lack of American filmmakers. So we got one in there at least.
Hey guys, we got one.
We got one. That's all that matters. So there's that. I was going to slide in a thing about the Michael Jackson movie making a bunch of money. I don't know if you want to chat about that for a second.
Sure.
Yeah, Michael Jackson came out this week. The Michael movie came out this week. I think it made over $100 million worldwide. I have no intention of seeing it, but it's one of those things that I think it has a massive difference in audience rating versus critic rating. It's one of those things where it's just such a huge disparity. People sometimes just want to go to the movies and have fun and not be preached upon. It's just like, I want to watch a movie with songs I know, and I just want to do that. And I guess that's fine once in a while. Yeah,
those music biopics, they make money a lot of the time. So hey, maybe it's great. I haven't seen it. Yeah. It's probably the same as all the other music biopics, but Who knows? Maybe this is the good one. Yeah,
and again, like we were saying last time about, you have to have movies in theaters that make money to fund the ones that don't. That's just how that works. So, I guess that's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, people going to the movies is a good thing.
It is, absolutely. All right, so with that, let's get to what we're watching, because again, I'm doing the one movie a day challenge. With the 3 I watched in the theaters, I caught up to the 117 days this year, so I'm seeing 117 movies so far this year, so I am literally on pace to watch 365 movies this year. So that's good.
Oh, wow.
Good for me.
I am not.
You're
I am
not.
not on that pace.
You're quite far behind.
I'm like way. This has been like one of my least watching movie years. I feel
Is
like.
it? Yeah, yeah. That's all right. It
Yeah,
happens.
I've only
It's
seen 56 movies, which is, I
yeah.
mean, objectively, like, if compared to most people, that's a lot of movies.
That is a
It's not
lot. That's more.
176 or whatever.
Yeah, you look at like the
Yeah.
median or the mean or the whatever the average amount of movies people see in a year. It's what would you say? It's like maybe 15, 16, maybe one, two a week, if that.
Yeah, something like that. That sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Yeah, not a lot. Not a lot.
Yeah.
What was I going to say about that? Oh, I'm looking on my Letterboxd all-time movies seen. I'm at 200, Jesus, 2,760 something. So if I'm on pace to see 365, I will hit 3,000 seen in my lifetime. That is something.
I mean, you're maybe this is the year you finally surpassed me because I'm at 2,852. So
Yes,
you're coming for me. You've been on my heels,
I have been.
and
Oh, cut out a little bit there. Yeah.
your obsessive year.
My obsessive year, yes. So yeah, I will pass you. I'm your Sammy Sosa. I'm coming up on your heels. All right, let's get to what I've been watching this week, last couple of weeks. Kiyoshi Kurosawa, great Japanese horror director. I've seen Cure is one of my favorite movies I've seen in the past couple of years. I bought that on 4K Blu-ray just recently during one of the Criterion sales. I've seen quite a bit of his movies in the last couple of years. He released a short-ish movie. He's one of these guys that puts out a lot of movies and sometimes does them on digital and sometimes does 45-minute movies like he did here with Chime and a very low budget. The premise is it stars Mutsuo Yoshioka as a cooking teacher whose life is disrupted by a chime which induces violent and erratic behavior in those that hear it. So it is a very short, quiet little movie. Apparently on Wikipedia it says it went on to be distributed as a NFT via Roadstead, a Japanese platform for digital video trading, which is very strange. Okay. I have no idea what that even was. And do you remember when NFTs were a thing? Or like, oh my God, this painting of a sad ape sold for $1 billion. Now it's worth like 15 cents. That's very bizarre. Anyways, the movie's good. It's a strange little short film, kind of a novella length. I guess if we're making the equation to books. Strange little 45-minute movie. I think it was streaming on Criterion Channel. Yeah, can check that out there. Yeah, if you're into Kiyoshi Kurosawa stuff. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Why not?
Why not? Yeah. Full-length movie I also checked out. A full-length French film written by Jean-Pierre Melville. I think I talked about one of his movies either last time or the time before that, called Army of Shadows. It was a 1969 spy film. Took place during World War II. The one I checked out this week was called Le Cercle Rouge. This film on Wikipedia says the film is known for its climactic heist sequence, which is about half an hour in length and has almost no dialogue, and that it is indeed what happens in this film. So it stars Alain Delon, and from some other French people, Jean-Marie Volonté. Yeah, some very French people in this film.
Some very French names, yeah. They sound like they are from France.
From France. Yeah. Snails. Yeah, it's a good one of these. It's, the main guy, Alain Delon, gets out of jail for good behavior, obviously meets up with a prison ward who tips him off about a jewelry heist about to happen, and just goes from there. Yeah, if you want a good 70s crime caper with some very well done, well shot film, well acted French heist film, probably highly influential on like the Ocean's movies, not the newer ones too, obviously the ones from the 60s and 70s. Yeah, it's a good one of those. That is it's only rentable now, actually. Rentable on the things, Amazon, all those places for I think it was like $2.99, not super expensive, but yeah.
Okay.
Definitely
Yeah.
recommend
Interesting.
checking it out. Yeah, those are these types of movies are the ones I'll go back to when I'm not like, oh, I don't even know what to watch. I know you probably have those moments where you're
Right.
like, I'm not sure what to watch. Let me just put on a good dude movie, a good dude heist movie that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, you're knocking out your film school movies right now. It sounds like.
Yeah, that would probably be in there, right? As like a good
Yeah.
French, not new wave, but like French cinema seminar would be probably in there. Yeah. Moving on, I'm keeping up with the Blank Check dudes. They watched the Mosquito Coast from one of their newest episodes. Again, going with the Peter Weir filmography is a screenplay by Paul Schrader. They do a cool thing on the Blank Check where they were talking about the movie and talking about opening the dossier and talking about the making of the movie and the writing of this and talking about Paul Schrader, how he's a psycho and he just is. And they showed like a rough draft of the script that Schrader was working on, and it's really gets into the mind of him if you look at it. Excuse me 1 second. Yeah, it was interesting looking into the mind of Paul Schrader in the 70s or 80s.
I mean, yeah, that's always interesting. I feel like a lot of those, Paul Schrader written Martin Scorsese directed movies are always just like, this guy's a little bit of a freak, isn't he?
Yeah, very much a freak, yes. So Mosquito Coast came out in the year of our Lord, 1986. It stars Harrison Ford, Helen Mirren, River Phoenix, and Martha Plimpton, very young Martha Plimpton. If anybody doesn't know, it's about a guy who's kind of very similar plot, very similar premise to Captain Fantastic, a movie from I think 2017, Viggo Mortensen. Sort of a guy just what is living in America, but very much wants to live off the grid. So this is essentially about a guy named Ali Fox, played by Harrison Ford, who's just ranting and raving about these things, these parts, and these computers, and these nobody wants to make anything in this country anymore, and this country's going to hell in a handbasket, blah, 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 blah. So he takes his family to some place called the Mosquito Coast, and they build this like commune in the middle of this forest. And if this is supposed to be set in any sort of reality, he builds this massive compound, like really well made, but it very quickly goes sideways when he goes deeper into the forest to meet an uncontacted tribe. And in the back room, he's like, oh, there's some white people back here and they're being held captive, and I'm told them that we can help them get them out. And then cut to a couple of days later when these quote unquote white people are not exactly white, and they take over their compound with guns and very aggressive behavior. So it's a good well made movie, Mosquito Coast. Yeah, have you seen this film?
Yeah, I have not. It's always been on my list of movies to watch. Partially because it's it's Harrison Ford. Kind of post Star Wars Indiana Jones Harrison Ford, like doing something different. Partially because Peter Weir of it all. I'm a really big fan of his. Been really into the Blank Check series that they've been doing on him, and it's Paul Theroux who I believe writes it. Really great travel writer. I've been interested by this one. I've never gotten a chance to see it though, but I've always wanted to. And also been interested in there's like a mini series they did a couple years back where, interestingly enough, Justin Theroux, who people might know from like The Leftovers and from Fallout, plays the Harrison Ford part, who is the nephew of the guy who wrote it. Ironically.
Oh, very interesting. Did not know that. Yeah. All right. So yeah, people, I would definitely recommend checking that out. That is also rentable. Let me do one more before we go to you. Checked out, going through other filmmakers' filmography that they covered on Blank Check. Park Chan-wook, his first film was Joint Security Area from 2000. It's his third film as director, but it is. I think he just wrote off this first two. It's like, no, I didn't actually. Those are not worth watching. So he just pretty much says this is his first film. It's incredible. It's one of those movies where you're like, okay, this is one of the best quote unquote first films. It's so well made, so well shot, well written and all that. It's obviously people don't know that Joint Security Area is the name of the place in between South and North Korea. So it's that place where you just kind of really don't want to be for any. If you're there, you're either a tourist or you got lost, and you definitely want to back out as quickly as possible. But it's essentially about I think it's one or two South Korean guards happen to meet and befriend two North Korean guards, and they strike up a friendship, and they have many nights together where they get they get to know each other pretty well. But then of course, as many things do, they go sideways when one of I think a North Korean guard catches them, and there's a shootout, and I won't say anything more after that because it's very much an investigative movie. It's very much about like who did what, who knew what. And that sort of thing. So yeah, really, really good. It's 110 minutes, so it's pretty short. Very highly recommended checking out Park Chan-wook's first film, Joint Security Area. It's streaming right now on Canopy.
Yeah, definitely need to check this out. I'm a big fan of Park Chan-wook. Need to see more of his stuff. I was just, talking about Korean films on my podcast in the episode that's coming out. It's going to just drop on Monday. I'll talk about Mickey 17, obviously directed by Bong Joon-ho, and he and Park Chan-wook are kind of like the big, like there's a lot of great directors coming out of Korea, but those are kind of like the big faces, at least for American audiences, of modern Korean cinema. And so, yeah, I would love to check this one out.
Yeah, this is very, very good. All right, let's go to you. I've been checking out Euphoria. Yeah, this is one of those big HBO shows, one of those big HBO prestige shows that I haven't really ever checked out before. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I wasn't really familiar with Euphoria other than the Instagram reels I see of like, oh, your dad slept with your transsexual friend. Now he's serving you chili. Isn't that fucking crazy? There's a lot of that shit I see. So I had not watched any of it. I was hanging out with my girlfriend yesterday, and she is like, yeah, this is a terrible show, but I kind of love it. And I was like, I get that. My brother watched a lot of seasons of Entourage, and it's the same kind of vibe of like, this is a shitty show made by HBO, but it is very entertaining. And so we watched one episode of season 3. It was a big episode. It was the wedding between Nate and Cassie. It was Jacob Elordi and Sydney Sweeney. And I was like, wow, this is some fucking trash, but I am engaged. I had no context for a lot of what was going on.
So to speak.
Yeah, it was. I think Sydney Sweeney is actually. This is the one time I think she's actually a really good actress, is because she's just playing fucking unhinged, it's like, and just horrible person. She's very good at that. And yeah, I hate everyone on this show. They're all terrible people, and I hope they all fail at everything. It was a ridiculous, insane thing. The wedding was nuts. Just lots of drama. Fuck this show. I don't give a shit if I spoil it. Someone after they get home, someone cuts off Jacob Elordi's toe with pliers, and Sydney Sweeney just cries because she's got blood on her dress. Yeah. It's a ridiculous looking show. Rue, aka Zendaya, is off on her own drug dealer side quest. Every female character is some kind of sex worker. It's just very male gazy and ridiculous.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting. Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah.
I've seen clips of the show. I kind of get where it's going. I didn't know everyone was kind of irredeemable. Like I know Rue is kind of involved with drug dealers, and I've seen that clip of like, Rue, you screwed me. You owe me money. I forget the actress's name, but I like her a lot. Looks like one of those bad trashy shows. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very much. It's empty calories. It's
Yes.
like eating. It's like eating those hot Cheetos. It's like, ooh, this is spicy, and it's oh, I like it, but it has no nutritional value.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I've always wondered if like those soaps that our parents and grandparents used to watch, if they were just as bad, or if there's some kind of downhill slope in terms of quality of stuff like this, or yeah.
Oh, those were arguably worse. Like, those are really bad. Those are like, especially because they ran for so long,
Yeah.
At least this is just season 3 of the show. Those are on like season 47 or whatever. And
Right.
People like, oh, we need to have this actor back. Well, he's his twin. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. All right. So you got that. Let's go to you again. Checked out a film I'm definitely interested in checking out called Palestine 36. Is this one of those movies you saw at the Regal or a art house theater? Where'd you see this?
Yeah, this was, like we were talking about beforehand, movies play near me, which is nice. So this was playing at the movie theater, the AMC, that was literally, a in the same shopping center that I work at. So I walked out of work and I walked over and I got there before Nicole Kidman finished talking and the pre-show. And yeah, this was this was an interesting movie. I was excited to see. I know this was not excited. That's not the right word, but this was the selection from Palestine for their best foreign film for last year's Oscars. Obviously, really important subject matter, very relevant for what's going on. And I was engaged with watching the early parts of the struggle of, the first kind of wave of, Israeli settlers. And, it happens right basically leading up to the partition by the British. And just like everything else the British have ever done, they fucking ruined everything, just like they did with India and Pakistan. They just ruined everything. And that all that drama is very interesting. There's some really good action stuff. There's some cool stuff with there's like a priest character who I thought was fascinating because he was a Palestinian Christian priest, and seeing that whole like orthodoxy was pretty cool. But it's there's other than one or two characters, nobody's really deep, and even those characters, they're not really much. It's more a movie about like, this is important to tell you the history than to actually engage with it as a film. It also, I feel like it's very, I don't know how to put this delicately, but it's a movie that is like, hey, this is something bad that happened. Zionists coming in, stealing Palestinian lands and stuff like that. Very important. It kind of, it's like, and nobody wanted them in Europe. I'm like, well, that's not a good way to put the Holocaust, but okay. So there's a little bit of that going on. But yeah, it's a the subject matter is important. I don't feel like it's that engaging of a film. Not a bad film, but it's not one that I could ever see myself necessarily rewatching.
Yeah. It seems like there's a few of them I talked about the last couple of weeks that have like the Palestine 36 obviously deals more specifically with the sort of conflict and makes a point of saying like, yeah, this is where the thing that's sort of one of the inciting incidents and one of the reasons we are where we are now. But stuff like The Year of Living Dangerously and The Last Emperor and the historical, movies like that have sort of very generally and very vaguely have sort of talked about, the regions of the world that have had conflict in somewhat recent past of like, yes, this is a historical, retelling of historical events, but doesn't really, the movie itself isn't that, I guess entertaining is not the right word, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like the movie itself isn't something that you would want to sit down and watch again.
Right, like you could easily just watch like a documentary or like a YouTube video essay about the same subject matter, and you would get largely the same experience. I feel like I said, there's a couple interesting characters, a couple standout moments, but everybody in this is pretty bland and pretty blah.
Yeah, similar, I guess, thing with. I guess is Battle of Algiers is probably one of the best ones I've seen of that, where. It's telling an important story. It's telling an important historical moment. And also it's a very engaging movie. That's probably the right word, right? It's like, it's an engaging movie. Engaging. Yeah. Yep. All right. Back to me. Saw some other going, again, with the theme of there isn't a lot showing out right now. So I'm going back to the classics, watching Wild Strawberries by Ingmar Bergman. I haven't seen a whole lot of Mr. Bergman's stuff recently, or at all. I think I've only ever seen Persona, so I just went through his list and be like, okay, what's the most popular one? What's the decided upon best, quote unquote, best one? And I saw Wild Strawberries was up there as one of his best and most popular. This is from 1957. Is a road drama film written and directed by Ingmar Bergman. This is starring Victor Skordstrom, B.B. Anderson, and a very, very young Max von Sydow. You can definitely tell it's him by his jaw. one of those jaws of all time. One of the best jaws of all time, I
Yeah,
should say. Yeah.
yeah.
um,
I know he's a Bergman guy. He was obviously in, oh my gosh, this most famous film. I'm spacing on it, where he's playing chess with death.
oh
What's it
yeah.
called? Seven.
Yeah. What is that called? Very,
It's like this.
Seventh
It's
Seal.
the Seventh Seal. Seventh Seal. That's right.
Yeah. I have seen that one as well. I saw Seventh Seal, and I've seen Persona, and now I've seen Wild Strawberries. It's essentially like retelling or reformatting of something like Christmas Carol. An old guy that's kind of been very business oriented, doesn't care about his family. At the end of his life, he's like, oh my God, what have I done? I've ignored all the important things in life, that sort of thing. But told in the Bergman way of like dream-like logic and showing very strange imagery and that sort of thing. So yeah, really, really well made for that time period of using effects and using camera effects in an interesting way. So yeah, one of crazy enough, one of the best directors of all time, one of the best movies of all time. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Right. Crazy to say. Yeah, this is like, I feel like the ultimate hey, I'm getting into film. Like,
Yes.
I'm gonna watch
Yeah.
Wild Strawberries. I say that as, of course, I haven't seen it. Or really any Bergman. I
Yeah.
really should. Yeah, he's a big blind spot for me. So, I've always thought Seventh Seal would be probably my first one, but this might be the one after that.
Yeah. I think it's really good too that like this guy and trying to think who else, Hong Sang-soo, but also there's a lot of these guys that thank God for the fact that they some of the best movies of all time are 90 minutes. This one is like 90 minutes. I think Persona is pretty short. A lot of these guys' works are pretty short. So thank you well in advance for doing that, Mr. Bergman. Thank you for keeping.
That is always nice.
It is always nice, yeah. Another sort of classic I'm catching up on, Arthur Penn. I watched Night Moves for the first time. Stars Gene Hackman and Suzanne Clark and a very young Melanie Griffith and very young James Woods as well. Really good. Again, going back to this sort of things I fall back on when I'm not sure to watch. This is neo-noir, very Sam Spade type movie. What is his name? Gene Hackman plays a former football player named Harry Mosby, working as a private investigator in Los Angeles. So, very much like what's the Chinatown sort of thing, private investigator in Hollywood. He goes around talking to guys working in the industry. At one point, this is very much a example of how they made movies in the 70s, where he just goes to, a film set and the guy's filming a movie and they're doing a stunt with an airplane and it probably was the actual airplane flying around and they actually do a stunt where the plane actually comes down and you're like, holy shit, that almost killed Gene Hackman because that was a fucking close shot. Yeah. Well, really, really well made. Really, again, you can't ever go wrong with Arthur Penn, Gene Hackman, neo-noir, fucking great. Definitely recommend checking this thing out. Streaming right now on Criterion.
Okay, all right, yeah, another one I have not seen. So, definitely, you're not, like I said, you're knocking out all the film student movies, that are on. Like, these are great classic movies that we all should probably see.
Yeah, catching them up right on time at the ripe old age of 40. Yep, catching the classics right on time. Let's go back to you. You saw a film in theater. I saw another one as well, but we'll start with you. You checked out Speed Racer Go in IMAX. Tell me, how was this experience in theaters?
Yeah, I love Speed Racer. I have loved this movie for a very long time. It's getting its 4K re-release finally. For a long time it was just available as like a regular shitty DVD, and in conjunction with that re-release, it's getting a re-release in theaters, including they were doing a one-day only IMAX re-release of this. So I went to go see this movie on the big screen. I'd actually seen it a couple years back on the big screen at a local art house, which was cool, but this was something completely different. This was seeing this movie, which I've seen well over a dozen times probably, finally on a humongous, just incredible screen again, and was something just like unfathomable. It is one of the most visually gorgeous, best sounding movies I have ever seen. I love this movie so goddamn much, and watching it in a room full of people so excited about Speed Racer, watching these beautiful colors and just heart in their sleeve performances happening up there was spectacular. I will say, too, I think that the Grand Prix, the kind of finale of this movie, might be the best 15 minutes of any movie ever.
Yeah.
Just pure cinema. Like throwing your hands up, Martin Scorsese meme. Absolute cinema. It's so goddamn good. And I think when I think of how far we've come, this movie was a big inspiration for me. I've championed it for years. It was the first movie I ever covered on Underrated because I was like, this movie is so underrated, and it is slowly over the years built up this reputation for being this box office failure that critics hated to being this kind of beloved cult classic. And I still remember watching it opening night in a humongous theater with me and my group of friends and one dad and his son, to now get to the point where the theater was sold out.
Wow.
The transformation that this movie has been on, the reclamation, I have never seen anything like it in my lifetime. To see it go from just a rather reviled movie to being something that people are jamming in to see. I was so excited. I love that seeing this journey this movie's been on, and to see that people are finally starting to give it its flowers.
Yeah. That's really great to hear. Yeah, it's something about the theater going experience we talked about last time with the drama, with having a packed theater. It really does, enhance and really makes the movie watching experience so much better.
Yeah, it's really spectacular, and I did see a couple movies this week in IMAX. That one, obviously, I saw Speed Racer on Monday when it released, and then I saw on Wednesday. Actually, went down to go see the City Walk at Universal to check out Project Hail Mary in true IMAX 70mm.
Nice.
That was some. I'll just throw that as in like a bonus.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Just huge. You don't realize, obviously IMAX is IMAX, but you don't realize how big a true IMAX is. Just the way it just fills up everything, and seeing it also in the film. It's kind of like, I know it's a little bit film broy, but it's something magical seeing that grain and shit like that.
Yep.
And just the shots of space, was something else. Like when you would just see like the Petrova line shot or whatever it might be. And it's the same thing with Speed Racer, where you're just getting to see the car just going up and just all the beautiful visuals. So see movies in the theater, people, because it's pretty special.
See them in theater, absolutely. Cannot recommend that enough. Let me just talk about two I saw. Well, we talk about three, but two right now that I saw in theaters just today. I saw one, Over Your Dead Body, apparently a remake of a Finnish film. Let me see. Let's see. What is Norwegian film? It's called The Trip. Directed by the same director who did Violent Night from 2022. Apparently has a sequel coming out this year, Violent Night 2.
More Violent Night.
More Violent Night, exactly. Violent Night, yeah. So yeah, Over Your Dead Body, directed by Jorma Taccone, one of the Lonely Island fellas. Yeah, this stars Jason Segel, Samara Weaving, Paul Guilfoyle, Timothy Oliphant, and Juliette Lewis. The premise is a husband and wife are at odds with each other violently to the point where they both want to kill each other, but they both separately want to kill each other, but they find out that they want to kill each other mid attempted assassination, mid-attempt assault. So yeah, it's a little goofy. It's a little fun, decent action. I just feel like the humor was not as good as it could have been. It's just like, I see what you're doing. I see why it should be funny. I see why I should be laughing. And again, speaking to the theater going experience and why it's important to have audiences around you is because I probably would have been laughing more if there was more than 3 people around me. I saw this like I said, 1 p.m. on a Monday, and there weren't a lot of people there at all. So I think would have gone over a little bit better had there been more people there. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like Jason Segel is not been doing this a lot recently. I can sort of maybe see the rust is kind of maybe his comedic muscles have atrophied over the years because didn't quite laugh at the parts I assumed I was supposed to be laughing at. And Samara Weaving's been doing that action / comedy thing for a little bit with the Ready or Not movies. It's a perfectly competent film. It's one of those movies I would never see in the theater normally. Again, only because of the Regal Unlimited thing, and because I was going there to see at least 2 other movies that day is the reason I checked this out. So yeah, it's one of those movies. Gotcha. It's one of those. See it if you want.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the vibe I got from it. I was like, oh, maybe I'll see it if I got nothing else to see, nothing else to do on a particular day. Yeah, it's not when I'm rushing out to go check out.
Yeah, perfectly fine. One more before we get to the movie of the week. I saw my favorite Ghibli movie. It's called Whisper of the Heart, directed by Yoshifumi Kondo. So it is one of the non-Miyazaki directed Ghibli movies. Saw this dubbed. So it was, let me see if I have the American voice actors here. I do not. They were good though. I think this came out in like 95, so it was quite young people doing the dub here. Let me see if I can find. No, I can't find it. But yeah, it's good. It's it's about a 14-year-old girl named Shizuku, who is obsessed with books. So she's always checking out stuff in the library, and she eventually discovers that a lot of the books that she's checking out, the checkout cards, has a person named Shinji Amasawa, and so she spends a lot of the movie tracking down who this person is, and she finds him, and he his grandfather owns a antique store, and he fixes up antiques and musical instruments as well. So because of her love of music and writing, and so she writes a song that is essentially country roads but uses like Tokyo lyrics. And so her and that boy come together and make a nice song using the lyrics and using the violin that he made himself. So yeah, it's a great little movie about finding your passions in life and trying to keep those alive while also not burning yourself out by doing schoolwork and taking care of stuff at home, and trying to nurture your passions without burning out is one of the main things in the movie. So yeah, very much relate to that stuff. Yeah, great Ghibli movie.
Yeah, finally got to a movie that I have seen. I like this movie. I haven't seen it in a minute, but it's a good movie. All that stuff about young love and first crushes and reading, which is obviously in stories, and writing, which is all obviously very important to me. Also, there's a cat who wears a funny little suit, and I love that. He's got a top hat and a bow tie.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It comes back in one of the few Ghibli sequels, The Cat Returns, which I have yet to see, actually.
Yeah, he returns in that one. It's pretty great.
He does. Some of my notes.
Yeah, I think that one is basically the story she's writing in this more.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. There's actually like quite a few nods to other Ghibli movies. It says Porco Rosso on the grandfather clock that he's the grandfather is fixing up. There's a witch on a broomstick that is probably a reference to Kiki's delivery service. Let me see what else. Yeah, I love how verticality plays a major role in this, where her house is on this giant hill. So whenever she goes down the hill to go to school or goes to the antique store, you can have a very amazing sort of view of the city from up there. Yeah, really, really amazing, soundtrack as well. Some great lines in this. Near the end, she says to him, "If I'm going to do this with you, I don't want to be a burden. I want to help you." When she's sitting on his bike as he's trying to bike up the hill. So yeah, my favorite Ghibli film. It's one of the. It's a underseen Ghibli movie. So I recommend people checking this out. I believe it's probably streaming right now on HBO Max.
It is, yeah. That's how I watched it a while back. It's a good movie. I love to hear that it's your best, because I love kind of underrated eclectic picks, as the name of my podcast might suggest.
Yes, indeed. Yes. All right. So with that, let's get to the movie of the week. David Lowery's Mother Mary stars Anne Hathaway, Michaela Cole, and Hunter Schafer. Derick, you are a huge fan of David Lowery, Pete's Dragon. You love the Ghost Story, all that stuff. Why don't you kick us off? What'd you think of Mother Mary?
Yeah, was a real interesting because I don't know you, I didn't know anything about this going in. I just saw it because I was like, oh, like Anne Hathaway is a Lady Gaga, and it's directed by Lady David Lowery. That's all I knew. That's literally it. So I'm
Yeah.
watching this movie and I'm like, what is this? Watching it because it's I'll spoil the premise because I don't know how to talk about it without it. But
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway is, like I said, a Lady Gaga type. She is this big pop star. Goes back to the dressmaker, who is a Daniel Day Lewis in Phantom Thread type, and she was this obsessive dressmaker. They've had a falling out. There's clearly, whether it be platonic or deep romantic feelings, this is not really established, but there's a real connection between these two women, and there's been some real hurt between them, and it kind of devolves into this spooky ghost story, and it is one of the weirdest big budget blockbusters I've ever seen in my life. There's some really phenomenal filmmaking in this. There's one sequence in the middle where Anne Hathaway is kind of seeing this ethereal ghost. It's a flashback to her, on stage, and it is some of the best stuff I've ever seen. I think Lowery is just a fantastic filmmaker. Hathaway is really doing it all. It's the first time we've seen. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot she's a really good singer. Like I remember she won the Oscar in Les Mis. Like really good singer. Michaela Cole, I believe is her name.
Yeah.
She's just really, really good in this. I think you've seen. I know you've seen her in some stuff like I May Destroy You. You're a little more familiar with her than I was, so I was kind of more taken off guard by how good she was. And yes, I wasn't familiar with her work. But yeah, it's really good music, just bizarre stuff. It feels like it's very much commenting on these. I know I compared to Lady Gaga, but she, in terms of her like look and sound, I think in terms of her celebrity, she's a lot more like Taylor Swift or Beyonce.
Yeah.
This kind of like this cult like almost figure that I think that Lowery thinks that the fandom around her is Taylor is maybe a little bit toxic from the vibes of this movie, and I would agree with that. I think the Eras tour kind of fucking sucks, but it was also just like this really great movie about female relationships. There's not really any men in this movie other than some extras in the background, which I thought was really fascinating because it never really draws its attention to that. It's just like, oh yeah, this is a movie about women. It's about these two women. It makes sense. It's not like it's kind of like how Saving Private Ryan. That's a movie where there's mostly men because it's that's the setting. And it's one of those things. You kind of like notice halfway through, you're like, wait a minute, there's no dudes in this. This is cool. So yeah, it's a movie that's tough to talk about because it's so bizarre. It's like, oh yeah, the movie that's like equal parts David Lowery calling back to a ghost story, but it's also like Smile 2, but like good, and it's also like Phantom Thread, and it's like also just it's this movie about shared trauma and like how we can the metaphors in I think are really strong about this ghost, but it's also fabric, and it's also this thing that connects these two people that was caused by one person's pain that one inflicted on the other that then went to the other one, and the other had to literally pull out of her chest. It's doing so much more than we can talk about in a small little podcast segment here. Yeah. And I just saw it today, so it's a movie I need to sleep on, I feel like. But what did you think of it?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I agree with a lot of you said. It's about shared trauma. It's about one person hurting the other, and I do like that they have a dynamic which or they subverted or diverted from these dynamics where you see like let's say just Hacks for just to pick something is where Hacks has this dynamic of like one person's hurts the other, but then they sort of immediately go back to their previous dynamic. And I like how this is sort of has Anne Hathaway coming to her as this sort of wounded bird who I assumed at some point she would sort of drop that act and sort of go back to whatever sort of maybe a more domineering and more aggressive sort of posturing that she probably had before, but she never really does. So I thought that was an interesting way of sort of subverting that dynamic that we've seen played out many times before. And David Lowery's known, a lot of his movies have been known to have incredible cinematography. The film was shot by Andrew Joes Pallarino, who's done a lot of his work before. He did A Ghost Story. And so, yeah, it's one of those movies where I was like, damn, I wish I could just snapshot this and take it home and put this stuff on my wall, because like you were mentioning, a lot of stuff in the middle of that movie where they're showing her on the tour that she's going on, where she's just like, she's doing the performance, and it's a very well done sort of oneer where she's going from, the ghost haunting, or they go from not the exorcism, but the thing where they do the thing at the table where you put your hands in and you move the thing around, and it's not a Ouija board, but it's that thing where you put your hand on and somebody has to move it, and you're like, did you move it? No, I didn't move it. But anyways, they have the haunting scene. And then they moved directly
with the
in.
FKA Twigs.
Yes, yeah, she was that whole scene.
Who also did the music for the movie? I will point out, it's really good. It's
really good music, really amazing score. But yeah, they do that scene. They do the haunting scene where Anne Hathaway's character, Mother Mary, gets haunted, and they do an amazing. I don't know if it was a oneer or what, but she was in a bed, and then immediately pivots from the bed to the makeup scene, getting her makeup done. Immediately pivots to her on stage, and then they pivot from her. Like they have this amazing silhouetted scene where her helpers are behind her and she's walking upstairs, and then when she walks up the stairs, obviously she's going to perform, and then immediately cuts to like her walking through a door, walking down the stairs after performing, and they do that montage a few times. And I thought that scene was incredibly staged, incredibly shot. Reminded me a lot of Night of the Hunter. You ever seen that movie where they have the sort of pulled back and silhouetted sort of 2D constructed scene? It reminded me of that a lot. So yeah, amazing. So many scenes in this movie are feel like it would be ripe for, that YouTube channel, every frame of painting, because there were so many shots in this movie that could have been put on a wall in a museum. So yeah, really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, some just really striking imagery, including the one that opens the movie. You're kind of like, there's a lot of like great setup and payoff. Like there's that scene, there's the thing about like, oh, what happened with your video? And you're like, they don't even tell you the context of the other. You're like, there's some video, and then when it comes back, it's so fascinating. There's the thing about like, oh, dress me in anything but not red, and then you see that she kind of lingers on the red, and it's like, well, what does red mean to both of these people? Because it clearly means something, So yeah, really, really great screenplay, really great looking movie. So, I mean, the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm loving this movie.
Yeah. It's one of those things too where the supernatural stuff combines with like, as far as like the supernatural stuff being like, did that really happen? And clearly something happened, because you saw them having that exorcism scene, that not exorcism scene meaning like actual religious iconography or anything like that, but they have this scene where they both are coming to terms with, okay, we both saw something, because Michaela tells a story about her seeing something in red coming out of her, and then Mother Mary tells her, oh yeah, I saw the same thing, and then Michaela Cole's character Sam says, no, you're bullshitting. You're just saying that because I said it, and you're just like trying to, have this compromise moment. She's like, no, I actually saw something. And again, it goes back to that, what I was saying, where she's incredibly elongated, multiple scenes of her telling Sam what happened. And so Sam finally believes her, and they sit down and go, okay, let's get this out of each other. And they, spoiler for this movie, but I think, who does it first? I think, Anne Hathaway, stabs her fingers a little bit, and then Sam does too. And it says they're sort of, she's like, we got to make an exit for this thing. And so Mother Mary grabs like some scissors, and she's like, "No, we have to have an exit." And she like puts this deep cut into her chest, and and then Sam puts her finger into her and finds it and pulls it out, and then they're like having this orgasmic experience. And then the rest of her people come in and like, "What the fuck is going on?" And you're like, so something that all obviously happened because you can see her chest at the very end where she takes off the outer part of her costume. And you can see like her chest got stitched up. So clearly whatever was happening, actually happened, right?
Yeah, I mean, I took it as, like literal, it might be metaphorical, but I was kind of like, she removed this entity, this shared bond. And I love the last shot of the movie where, she's wearing the dress, which is made from this like fabric ghost that she pulled out of her. And now it's connecting. It was this, toxic thing, between the pair of them, and now it is this bond they've developed where they've come back together and created something beautiful and meaningful.
Yeah. Did you ever end up seeing Begonia?
I never did.
No. Okay, because Begonia has some of these like supernatural iconography in it too, where what's her name? Emma Stone is like a pharmaceutical executive, and she's to blame for one of the characters' mother's dying, and you see some of these scenes where Jesse Plemons' mother is dying, and they're outside of the hospital, and Plemons' mother is like floating above them in like this weird supernatural way, and you're like, oh, what the fuck is that supposed to be? So I think this movie, Mother Mary, a lot of that supernatural stuff, imagery, and a lot of that stuff definitely works a lot better here, I think.
Yeah, no, I thought it was incredibly well done.
Yeah.
This is a movie that I definitely need to watch again because I feel like it was I mean, I know we've already talked about it, so people aren't going to be able to, but I really recommend going into this movie blind if you don't know anything about it and you're just like, what is even happening here? That was such a good way to watch this thing.
Yeah, David Lowery is really on a roll in terms of like, movies with something to say, some themes, some ideas, some incredible cinematography, incredible compositions. Going back to A Green Knight from 2021, then A Ghost Story before that. You have the scene in A Ghost Story with Rooney Mara eating that pie for 20 minutes. So it's
right, yes.
Lowery and the other A24 fellas, Ari Aster and I forgot the other fella's name, does the Hereditary. No, that is Ari Aster. Who am I thinking of? The Ari Aster and the guy that did. I'm always blanking on it. It's Ari Aster and there's the two guys, right? Him and.
You gotta give me more than he's another guy.
The other guy, the other A24 horror dude. Not horror dude, but he's done. Oh my God, did he do Eddington, right?
Oh, yeah. What's his name? He did Beau is Afraid. Right? That guy.
Oh, that is Ari Aster.
Beau is Afraid is Ari Aster. Yeah, it is Ari Aster.
Beau is Afraid, Ari Aster. Crap. Why can't I ever think of the freaking guy's name? Anyways, yeah, there's a bunch of these guys that are like doing very original movies for adults, and yeah, hopefully this does well. I think I just saw the drama passed $100 million. So, A24 is kind of on a roll now with some of their original programming, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, no, they're great. I love seeing the kind of return of the mini majors with the A24. It's a studio that has built up a really big fan base. I am one of them. I have like my A24 Midsummer shirt. Speaking of Ari Aster, So yeah, it's and obviously I'm a big Lowery guy, and they're not all bangers. Like there's always the odd death of a unicorn, but most of the movies from A24 are really fucking great.
Yeah, I feel like they don't get the same sort of awards acclaim that Neon gets most recently. The guy I was thinking of was Robert Eggers is like the other guy. Coming out with Werewolf later this year. So yeah, good stuff from A24 and David Lowery.
Yeah, they're cultivating some really good talent over there for sure.
They really are. So that was our review of Mother Mary. Definitely check it out now in theaters. All right, with that, let's move on to Letterboxd assignments. My Letterboxd assignment last time was a movie called Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans. I believe you said this is your favorite silent film?
That's correct.
Nice. Yeah, so I don't know about this film. I don't know how I feel about it. Because I don't, because I think you were mentioning earlier, like with the Euphoria, like these people are terrible and I don't care about anything that happens to them. And the main character in Sunrise, A Song for Two Humans is not a good guy. He's like not a good human at all. Like he gets what's the word? He gets tempted into murdering his wife by a woman from the city, and that's the way we start out this movie. And he tries to, and he looks like the acting is very good in this. I think this is some of the best acting I've seen in a silent movie. But he's so over the top. It's like, again, it's talking about like soap opera stuff. He's sitting in the boat. He's like, ugh. He's so angry with his eyes down. And you're like, the wife is just like, what is wrong with you? He looks like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde at a certain point.
It's a silent movie. That's the acting style.
I do think, before I give too much criticism, I do think it's a beautiful looking movie. I think for 1927 and the silent era, I think he does some incredible stuff with the technology of the era. You know, some incredible movie magic, some crazy in-camera effects, some really, really well done camera effects for the time. Was done by F.W. Murnau, obviously of Nosferatu fame, speaking of Robert Eggers. But yeah, I just couldn't get on board with the characters, with the not necessarily the plot, but just like the character motivations and how quickly the woman goes from, you just try to kill me, and then, you know, events transpire and she's like, you know what?
It's a fairy tale.
Let's forget about it. Just like in Over Your Dead Body. Over Your Dead Body is about two people want to kill each other, and at the end they're like, you know, what are we going to do? You're not going to find anybody better than us. Who cares that we tried to kill each other for 2 hours? Come here, you old kook. I love you. It's a very similar thing here. he tries to murder her. In this movie, but he tried to kill her. He tries to murder his wife, and she quickly forgave him.
She did quickly forgive him, but the second half, the second 2/3 of the movie is very much not that. It is very much about, it's a love story, it's a fairy tale. It's okay. You know, it's I think you're taking things a little bit too literally.
Okay, all right, I guess I was, but yeah, it's good. It's one of the best. Silent movies I've seen. One of the best movies of that era, and it's interesting that it's sort of slipped under the radar, as it were, until now. No, I mean it's definitely one that was not available for a little while. You know, it got a little attention when it had a little bit of a comeback when it got put on that AFI Best 100 Movies list in 2007. Which is how I kind of became familiar with it. I covered it very early on, underrated. Nice.
But yeah, it's like I said, I'm not a big silent film guy, but I do love this one.
Let me see actually where I know where I saw it. I'm trying to see where other people can see it. Apparently it's playing on Plex right now. You can rent it on the places, on all the usual places. Looks like you can stream it on Hoopla, on Plex, on Just Watch. Yeah. All right. Hoopla. Derick, your assignment last time was Equus. Did you check out Equus?
You know, I was going to, and then I was like, where's this streaming? And I was like, and it was like, nowhere. And I was like, I guess I'll rent it. And it's like, no, you fucking won't.
No, you won't.
So I did not watch this. And I had to find another way, perhaps a DVD from the library or something, of procuring this. But I waited too long and then did not have any options to watch it. I guess we'll have to wait on this one from Peter Schaefer. All
right. Let's go to my watch list. I'll figure out what I'm watching next time. Shuffle, and we get, I was just talking about this movie a while back. The Chase from 1966. Again, another Arthur Penn joint. Stars Marlon Brando, Jane Fonda, Robert Redford, little guy named Robert Redford, little guy named Robert Duvall. Yeah. Catherine Walsh. Yeah, some people in this film. Interesting. E.G. Walsh. Okay. Many people in this film. Another Arthur Penn to check off my list for next time. Okay. Derick, why don't you give your watch list a spin? Let me know what you get.
And I got Billy Wilder's. I think there's one Best Picture, maybe not. No. Well, maybe. The Lost Weekend.
Haha, I did win
So
Best Picture. Yep.
1945. Yeah, it did. Okay, all right. About an alcoholic. So yeah, I'm a big Billy Wilder fan. I've seen a lot of his movies. I think are some of the greatest films of all time. The Apartment, Sunset Boulevard, Double Indemnity, Some Like It Hot.
Yeah.
To name a few. So yeah, we'll be interested to see how this one shakes out because I think none of those won Best Picture. This one did, so let's see how it stacks up.
Yeah, I checked it out for my Best Picture winning marathon not too long ago. It took place, won in 1945. A lot of those ones from the 40s are actually really, really good. I think the 40s is one of the best Picture Best Picture decades, I would say. Best Picture, just looking up all the winners. I really, really enjoyed it. I think once I finish up the marathon, this one and the 40s will definitely be in the top of the list there, top of the rankings.
All right, very cool. Yeah, excited to check it out.
Yeah, that decade. Let's see, the Lost Weekend, Best Years of Our Lives is also a really good one if you've never seen that one. Going My Way was pretty good. Casablanca, obviously, great. Mrs. Miniver, really good. I think the only subpar ones in there would be How Green Is My Valley. Gentleman's Agreement, not great. All the King's Men was very good. Hamlet, obviously, pretty good thing, I guess. Some people have said. Yeah, Rebecca's very good. Yeah, I think the 40s. If I had to rank the decades of the Best Picture winners, I think the 40s would be up there. Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, you should do that. You should compile it once you're done.
Should.
See how everything stacks out.
Which decade was the best one? Yeah. Let's see. All right, so there's that. And for next time, again, you talked at the beginning of the pod about how we're in a little bit of a lull, and we still kind of are. This coming Friday, May 1st, we have an animated film, Animal Farm: A Cautionary Tale, directed by Andy Serkis. I wonder if he's going to do any of the mocap. He's going to mocap a piggy and mocap a horse and mocap a
I'm so
goat.
curious about what this thing is going to be because it's like from Angel Studios, so with like the religious people who made the fucking Jim Caviezel fucking kidnapping whatever movie that. But it's like it's Andy Serkis, so I don't. And it's like the cast in this is really like it's just very strange, and like the trailers make it seem like a kids movie, and I'm like this is like a metaphor for like the rise of communism in Russia. Like
what the fuck? All right, so yeah, that'll be something that people can you can check that out if you want to. Also this coming weekend, we have Devil Wears Prada 2. I caught up with the first one not too long ago. Speaking of Anne Hathaway, it looks like the year of Anne Hathaway is coming down the pike.
Yeah. This is I think official start of the summer movie season. Friday with Devil Wears Prada 2. So this one's probably going to do a lot of money, and we'll see if it ends up on either of our summer movie wager lists. Yeah,
I don't think I knew that. I don't think I've been keeping up with the Filmcast. I didn't know if they mentioned that this week.
Well, I mean, yeah, this is you better do it quick because we're running out of time.
I better do that. I think I mentioned at the beginning of the pod about Rennie Harlan. Got a new one out called Deep Water, about a plane that crashes into shark-infested waters. So that'll be a thing people can check out. And the horror movie I mentioned earlier is coming out this week. The first horror movie of this month was set out to be a banging month for horror. First one out the gate is Hokum, directed by Damian McCarthy, starring Adam Scott, Peter Coonan, and David Wilmot. Synopsis is: a author travels to a remote part of Ireland to spread the ashes of his deceased parents, unaware that his rented accommodation could be haunted. Hate when that happens. Yeah.
You hate to see it.
Hate to see it. Following week, May 8th, we have The Sheep Detectives, a new breed of mystery. Directed by Kyle Balda, written by Greg Mazin of Chernobyl fame and Left of Us fame. Very strange writing job there. Starring Hugh Jackman, Nicholas Braun, Nicholas Geislin, Gatlin, Molly Gordon, Hong Chow, Emma Thompson, and a host of other actors. Again, another movie with a massive cast of voice actors. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and then Hugh Jackman is like, I'm reading to the sheep. Oh, I've been murdered. The sheep are going to solve the mystery.
Seems like
that's the movie.
cozy mystery murder. Yeah. All right. Same week, May 8th, we have Mortal Kombat Part 2, directed by Simon McQuad, based upon Mortal Kombat, starring Carl Urban, finally getting in that Johnny Cage role. Seems like this Mortal Kombat 2 seems like the movie everyone wanted, the quote-unquote first one to be from 2021. Remember that one?
Yeah. They're actually doing a Mortal Kombat in this
Actually doing a Mortal Kombat, as opposed to the first one, yeah. Carl Urban is Johnny Cage, Adeline Rudolph as Katana. No names I really actually recognize in here, but I will be here day one, baby, checking that thing out.
My boy Hiroyuki Sanada is back as Scorpion, so love to see that. Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
You checking that out?
Yeah, I mean, hey, video game movies, as I have said, they got good. So let's check this one out. We had a couple recently. One was good, one was bad. Let's see which one this one goes.
Let's see. All right, let's do a little plug-in. Medium, Substack. Go there, DamianSherman.medium.com. Letterboxd, Midnight Film Pod, 18 away from 2,500 followers. Get me there, guys and gals. Film essayist on YouTube, Spotify for podcasters. Go to my Discord. Go to Midnight Film Pod on TikTok. Derick, what you got to plug?
Underrated Movie Podcast is the podcast. You can go to underratedmoviepodcast.com for links to all that on also all the social medias, or just look up Underrated Movie Podcast. However you're listening to this, to get that stuff, I'm going to be starting a mini-series soon called Unreleased, where I'm going to be talking about films that have been made unavailable in some way, starting off with 1994's The Fantastic Four.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Now, spoiler. I don't know if you spoil this, but did you happen to check that film out?
I did. I just recorded the episode earlier today.
Oh, nice.
So it is in the can. I just need to edit it. It's kind of starting in June. So a couple episodes gonna be coming out before that. But yeah, I'm very excited for this miniseries.
I may have helped you procure that. I might have checked it out as well, a little bit of it. And just from what I saw, that's an interesting little film. That's something.
It is indeed. It is a very interesting film.
Oof,
and highly recommend checking out. Also, if you check that film out, check out the movie Doomed, which talks about the whole story behind the movie and how it was essentially made to extend the film rights for the Fantastic Four, because they had to start filming it by 1993, otherwise they would lose the rights to the Fantastic Four. So it was started filming on December 28th of 1992.
That's incredible. All right, so with that, I'm a Damian.
I've been Derick.
And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.